Podcast. I'm Shanegotyou11. With me, as always, is Trey.
Yes, sir. We are back again with another episode of the Coast Madden Podcast. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, as well as the people that tune in to all these podcasts. Definitely greatly appreciate you guys tuning in, even if it's after the stream. So yeah, we're doing this a day early. I feel like we're always doing it a day early. Maybe we should be like the first podcast in history to not really have a set date. It's just, whenever it happens. No, but we try to get a podcast to you guys every week. Some days it might be a little bit earlier, some days it might be a little bit later, but we do try to get you guys one of these every week. So appreciate that. But Shane, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'll leave it. I'm doing it all right. I'm pretty good right now.
Yeah,
And welcome to the person who just joined right now.
right. And so Nick is not av- Nick is not available. He's usually on this podcast. I haven't heard from him in the last couple days, so we'll keep you guys updated with that. But first and foremost, I think that the major controversy taking place in the Madden community was Club Series. It was Joke versus Problem. And basically they played on stream. So you have like two of the biggest like competitors in the Club Series playing in an online game. And what the rumor is that in the first game, Joke disconnected Problem because he had to switch abilities, is what people are saying, but he's no longer. Um, but he didn't get kicked out. He's still in the tournament and everything. So, what my take on this is that I think Joke is hated a lot in the community, and I guess rightfully so. I mean, he does do a lot of complaining and that stuff, but this almost reminds me of like WWE and pro wrestling, where you have like the villains and then you have like the superheroes, and no matter what. And I think Joke is like the ultimate villain in this scenario, so people just want to see him, lose like no matter what. But I personally don't think he switched abilities, so that's what I think about that. But Shane, do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't. I know I did see that about they said he switched abilities, and that's why he disconnected. I mean, was there any video proof of that?
There was no video proof, and I think the rumor is that they were saying that Joke didn't have inside stuff before, but I mean it's not like, who's gonna play Problem and not think that he's gonna run the ball? So like that doesn't make sense to me why he would all of a sudden like play one quarter and say, "Oh, this guy's gonna run the ball. I need to get inside stuff." So
Yeah, I'm not so sure if I mean because you should have proof to make that
yeah,
claim.
yeah,
I understand like when last year when I played D Rose and he got sacked and all of a sudden he disconnected and it was super laggy. I felt like he had like one of his other crew members playing after that because he started to play totally different. But I mean I still had zero proof. So I mean if you don't have proof then it's not gonna
yeah.
work.
Yeah, if you don't have proof, then you're kind of SOL. So so yeah, that's pretty much what I think about that. But I mean, moving forward, the club series is going to be, I think it's going to be interesting. You definitely have a lot of matchups, and you know, me and Shane have talked about this for a while, but for the first time we've seen streamers uh, be involved in these tournaments, but this is the first time we're actually seeing like a big time YouTuber, TD Barrett, take place in these tournaments. So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to watch for sure. So, but before we talk about that, let's talk a little bit NFL related stuff. We haven't really been talking a whole lot of NFL lately. And as you guys know, I'm a Patriots fan, so you know that's been kind of rough for me. Did Shane? Did you see the Buccaneers and Giants game the other day?
I did actually. If the Giants had a decent QB, they would have beat Tampa Bay. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean that last drive though, they converted like two fourth downs, and then they
Yep.
and then they scored a touchdown, and then only to choke on a 2 point conversion, which is rough.
Well,
Like,
Daniel Jones threw the ball late on the 2 point conversion. If he hikes it and
yeah,
throws it because it's going to the flat, it's a touchdown, or I mean a 2 point conversion. But I mean they were beating Tampa Bay. I don't know if you saw that, and then Daniel Jones like threw off his back foot when he was getting pressured and got picked off.
right.
I don't know, man. I mean, and he's young, Like everybody wants to get rid of people right away. You got to give people at least 3 4 years still.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then there's also that meme, or like that meme. Yeah, you can call it a meme where he's running in the open field and then he
Yes.
trips over his himself. Yeah, that's like something that would happen in Madden for sure. But yeah, I mean the Buccaneers are doing pretty good. There was a few upsets. Last week I think someone beat, was it Denver that was beating on Tennessee last week?
No, I thought Denver beat the Chargers.
Right.
It was Tennessee and Cincinnati.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then like I saw that Cincy like had the lead for a while, but I don't know if they won the game or not. And then
The
the
Cincinnati
Seahawks,
beat Tennessee. Is that what you asked?
yeah,
Yeah,
is that
Cincinnati
true?
won.
Oh, okay, so yeah, that's an upset.
And Baltimore, or I mean, not Baltimore. Minnesota beat Green Bay. That was another upset.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess it's an upset, but I think that like in terms of like the divisional, well, Minnesota and Green Bay, they're in the same division, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. So they're in the same division, kind of like the Seahawks and the Niners. So when people play in like the same division, it's like anything can happen because they play each other now. The Seahawks usually always get the better of the Niners, I've noticed, and case in point last week. So,
yeah, I agree.
yeah, I know you're pretty excited about that. The week before though, you guys lost to the Cardinals, and what was your opinion on the DK Metcalf when he scored a touchdown? Do you think that was a good holding call, or do you think you got cheated on that?
I think it was a good holding call, but I mean, they threw it. My only issue is they threw it so late once they saw that it was going for a touchdown.
Yeah,
That's my only issue. But actually, my biggest gripe is when Bobby Wagner got hit with the personal foul when he hit the guy coming across the middle. That was a bigger issue to me.
right.
But in the end, you're not going to win with interceptions, and you're not going to win if your defense is allowing 28 points per game because the offense has to be perfect then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's gonna hurt too. So, I mean, that was a good game though. That was probably one of the better games that I've watched this year. So,
Oh, it was really good, man. I mean, I wish
yeah,
we won
really,
though.
yeah, really good, really good. So, but anyway, moving on. We're supposed to be getting a patch, that I've been hearing. It's supposed to be like I think the time frame's somewhere between next week, I believe. And the big thing is, well, I guess the first big thing is that they switched buttons for the QB slide. I know some people were having issues with that. I mean, I never understood why they made the celebration mechanic on left trigger. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I think they should have stayed with the three button combo. It makes it like a little bit more less um easy for you to be toxic and all that. So they're gonna be doing that, and other than that, it's mainly just gonna be stability improvements. I'm sure Shane's gonna post a video when it goes live, so
Yeah, it's supposed to
be
be
sure
next week,
to.
correct?
Yeah, I believe so. It was on Good Morning Madden, which is like the show that comes on every morning, just talking about mud and all that. But it's supposed to be coming around that time. And aside from that, they're trying to eliminate drop picks and wide open rack catches. So we'll see if they end up fixing that. I mean, I think it's definitely one of the lead detractors in this game for me personally. I don't really have a huge problem with this game aside from the interceptions, which is a big deal. And I think for each person they have something in Madden that turns them off specifically. But I think for me, drop picks is a big one because I truly feel like if you throw a bad read and I click on and go for the pick, I think that should be a pick like almost 100% of the time because you made a bad read. So
Yeah, they definitely need to fix defensive user picks when you make the right. If you jump and make it, and I understand if you have a crappy defender that's not good at catching, I don't have a problem with them dropping it more than catching it. But like, if I have my 95 Cromartie jump in front and I hit the button perfectly, if it if it doesn't even like register like in my tournament, that's an issue.
yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue for sure. Um, yeah, because there should be some of that. I mean, for the most part, and I've said this multiple times, but EA's been doing pretty good with the whole drop picks up until this point. So my hope is that they can fix it, and then we can go from there. So, but with that being said, we're gonna go to a poll question. We try to get you one of these, every week. Shane posted it on his community tab where you can vote for a topic that you would like us to discuss in the podcast, and the one that got the most votes was the best Madden game. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and say for me, I haven't really played, Madden in like the current gen. I kind of got back into it in like Madden 18, so I only played like 3 years. And honestly, and I'm gonna get a lot of heat for it, but if I had to say like what my favorite Madden was during that time, it would probably be last year. But I understand not a lot of people would agree with me, but I think that was like the first game where I was like, okay, I kind of want to be good now and kind of take it more serious. But if we're talking like back in the day when I was growing up, it would probably be like Madden '09, which ironically enough, if you go back and you look at Madden '09, that was a lot of people think that was the worst Madden ever, but I was too young. I don't even remember a whole lot about it, but just the nostalgic factor of it was that that was the first time that I was playing online and stuff like that. So, but Shane, what about you?
Madden 13 and Madden 16. That
Those are good ones.
yeah,
Yep.
those were my favorite. But Madden 13 was really cool just because I made Vegas. That has a little like connection for me. And then Madden 16, I really liked it actually, even though I was making a name for myself against the pros, and I didn't know they were pros because I wasn't huge into it. But yeah, those 2 years.
Yeah, Madden 16 was that was the first year of the MCS era. Actually,
Yeah,
that
that's
game
when
is what. Yeah,
yeah,
that
bro, that's when they told me not to qualify because I wouldn't make it, and I didn't know what the hell they were talking about.
right. And yeah, and to be fair, you didn't even. And once you heard about like because have you ever watched like after they were telling you about it, did you watch any of the Madden 16 and Madden 17 like the early days of like the MCS or
I did watch a couple like games when I think it was Skimbo versus Mo in the championship, right? And I think
yeah, that
Mo
was the
won.
first one. Yeah. Yeah.
And in my head, this was like a couple years ago, but in my head, I'm like, damn, that's why they didn't want me to join
Right.
because yeah, Skibbo beat me in the championship in regs, and
Right.
he's like, no, don't do it. You're not gonna make it anyway, Shane. So don't waste your time. And I'm like, okay, because I didn't know what the hell it was. But now I'm like, damn, that Madden 16 might have been my golden ticket.
So was he like when he was saying like don't join Shane, you're not gonna make it? Do you think that he was saying that because he was scared? He was like scared to face you, or was he saying it like just trying to be a dick, kind
It was when they would party up with me. It was like Skimbo, Scheming,
of?
uh, Prime, and another guy. I'm missing that because I think there's four in there. And I heard them like talking about like they're grinding for a tournament, and I said, "Oh, what tournament?" And Skimbo's like, "Don't do it, Shane. Don't worry. You're not going to make it anyway, so just don't do it." And now I feel like he didn't
Yeah.
want me to do it because I was getting second place in all those big tournaments on Gamersloon with all the pros when all the pros were on Gamersloon.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they were pros. You know what I mean? I had no idea. So yeah, I think a little bit is that he didn't want to because he didn't know how far I'd go and what was up, I guess, with it. I mean, it is what it is now, but I kind of feel like he didn't want me to join because he didn't want another tough player in there.
Yeah. But for the most part, like up until like Madden 19, you were mostly just like a regs player. You didn't
Yep.
really play a whole lot of mud until Madden 19 is when you finally, took that leap. So, but
Yeah, Madden 19, Madden 20, and Madden 21 now. But see, some people are saying there's not going to be a MUT draft or LCQ. I mean, I'm just going to go off what my guy said, and he said there was going to be. But other than that, I haven't heard any news. Have you heard any news?
I haven't heard any news. But people that I hear like on Twitch and stuff say that they think that there's going to be a tournament on Mud Draft. So,
Oh, okay.
all right. So let's close off this podcast with a little bit of club series talk. So Shane, you were in the Broncos club, and we have Turbo Jeff on the Xbox side, and we have Noonan on the PlayStation side. Who do you think, if you had to pick one, who do you think would get the upper hand in that matchup?
I'm gonna go with Noonan actually because Noonan's like I feel like Noonan's been playing more lately than Turbo Jeff in the last couple years, but maybe it's because Turbo's on the Xbox side. But I'm gonna go with Noonan.
Mm, there's a few good ones. There's one between Demon and Chigs of 300. These guys played last year for the Packers, so that's going to be an interesting one
I'm
for
going with
sure.
Chigs.
Yeah, Chiggs is kind of like Skeeman did make a good run in the club series last year, but Chiggs is like on the cusp of making it big. So then we got for the Vikings, we got Lord Phenom who won the club series last year against Poison, who was like a I guess like a Twitch upstart. Um, do you
I'm
know
going
any
with
of those guys?
Poison. No, I'm going
Yeah.
with Poison.
And then for the Seahawks, it's going to be D. Croft versus Young Kiv again.
I'm going Decroft.
You think D. Croft is going to pull it off this time?
Yeah, I'm not impressed with Kiv lately. I really am not. I know it sounds silly. I mean, I'm just not impressed with him lately.
Right. Okay, okay, this is going to be a big one that I think people would want to know. For the Now, this is the Patriots Club Series, so Skimbo's not in, but this time it's going to be TD Barrett versus Noah. Who do you like on that one?
I'm gonna go Noah. I'm actually surprised TD Barrett made it, but then in the same sense, I'm not surprised TD Barrett made it because he was getting trained by all the top pros. So
He didn't have to struggle for much either. Like he was rich, so he just like bought whatever cards he needed, and he was probably getting labbed up real well.
yeah,
So
I can't remember who he thanked, but
he,
I'm almost gonna make it. I think it was like Skimbo and help me, Dubby, or
yeah,
maybe I'm wrong, or maybe it was Joke and Dubby. I can't remember, but he was thanking some pros, and I'm like, oh well, if you have all the pros labbing with you every day, they're going to give you everything they know. And he plays the game enough now that he should be good enough. I still want to play TD Barrett. He might play me now because he's been trained the last couple years from pros. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, I personally think Noah floods. I think Noah floods TD Barrett. I think Noah's a dog, low key.
Yeah, he's
But
pretty good.
but I think that with TD Barrett, and and like not to take nothing away from him, but when you do have that, and when you're playing a tournament and you know that you're rich already, it's like you don't have any pressure on you, so you can kind of just, if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Like, what? It's not really matter. I
Right.
think I think I think at the end of the day, it is kind of good for the tournament that big time Madden YouTuber is competing in these events, but I think I still think it's kind of corny too at the same token. So, but okay, okay, Shane. So I know it might be a little bit difficult for you to make this prediction. Um, given the circumstances, but Yardstick versus Young Tony. Do you think
I think
Yardstick?
Yardstick wins. I think Yardstick
Yeah,
wins with ease, actually. I think he blows out young Tony.
right. Okay. All right. And last but not least, we didn't really go over the whole club series, mainly just the games that I feel like we know, but the last one between 49er and Samoa's finest. Now, 49er, he's been getting a lot of fans recently from playing with Dubby and all that. So so a lot of people think that this is his time. But Samoa's finest seems to be getting the best of him over time. So who do you think
I'm going to
is
go with
gonna win this
49ers
one?
still.
Okay, okay.
Those are just my guesses. We'll see next week. I mean, if I'm running out. They play this week, right?
I believe so. Yep.
Okay.
That's gonna be fun. So we'll see. Um, but yeah, Other than that, Other than that, I don't really have much else. Do you have anything that you'd like to add before we close out?
Just you guys hold on with us with this podcast. Like we've had a lot of changes in life going on right now with me having a baby, and then I've had to go to my brother's house to help out. So the same day is kind of off and on. But hopefully, come winter time, we'll be back settled in. But I appreciate you guys all being in here. This was a short podcast. Maybe we did need Nick a little bit. Just joking.
For
But
real, for
just a
I
little
miss
bit,
them
man.
already.
Just a little
Yeah,
bit. But we'll wrap this
yeah.
up. For Trey, I'm Shanegotyou11, and thanks for tuning in to the West Coast Madden Podcast.